Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex Beatsman, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now. It is Monday, November 7th. Ian Cameron, just me today. Short show, busy friggin' Monday for me. Lots of on-air time for me, and it is thankfully a short NHL card today. So we're going to roll through this show very quickly. Alex a little under the weather today. Hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow for the big Tuesday slate. We also have a special guest joining us tomorrow on the Tuesday show, Josh Eunice. Played some junior hockey, played professionally for a few years. Goaltender, was actually drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks, Alex's favorite team. So we will indeed have Josh Eunice back or on the show with us tomorrow. So we're definitely looking forward to that. There's no question. So excited about that. But looking forward here to breaking down the Monday card. We've got 3 games. We're going to jump right into it, and we're going to start with the Calgary Flames as they take on the New York Islanders. We've got Calgary minus 120, road favorites, 6 being the total here in this game. I think this is a buy low spot for the Calgary Flames. I understand the New York Islanders are playing some pretty good hockey. Well, they were until they lost to Detroit on Saturday. Did not play their best game there, but overall, they've played pretty well. They played well on home ice. Their offensive game, I think, has been a little bit better. There's no question. We've seen some improvement there. But I think this is a good situation for Calgary. I've said it previously on this show that the Calgary Flames need to get away from the Saddle Dome, get away from Calgary. They need to get on the road and try to get things rolling a little bit. And I think this is going to end up being the perfect opportunity for them, I think, to maybe come together a little bit and have a little bit more success here in this game tonight against the Islanders. So when you look at it here, you've got Calgary obviously not playing their best. Their defensive game's not where they want it to be. Daryl Sutter has talked about that repeatedly here in terms of not having this team's defensive structure lately where it was, say, early in the season when they were winning games. And it's true. That is what we've been seeing from Calgary, where you see they blow the game against Seattle. They have a rough start against Nashville, can't overcome it. And then against New Jersey, just some faulty defensive zone coverage, some wayward puck management, all of this stuff, definitely a problem for the Calgary Flames, and it leads to a New Jersey victory in that game. I don't mind the New Jersey loss too much because New Jersey's playing some great hockey right now. They've been actually a much improved defensive team. The goaltending lately from Vanacek's been better, and obviously they can score goals. But I think for Calgary, getting on the road is going to be the best recipe for them, the medicine to maybe cure what ails them, if you will, going into this game. And when it's all said and done, if you would have said to me coming into the season, you only have to lay this kind of price with Calgary, I would have definitely said I will take you up on it for sure. I like Calgary here, minus 120 in this game. I think you get one of their better efforts. They kind of huddled the team together and say, let's figure out what's going wrong. And I think you're going to see them come out with a strong effort here tonight against a New York Islanders team that I still think is not as good right now as the Calgary Flames. So I think it's a good spot for the Calgary Flames. I like the price here with them, and I think you're going to get them responding the right way. To be quite honest with you, it's a game where I expect their defense, to be a lot better. Now, they are missing, of course, 3 defensemen. Tanev has been out the last few games. He's day-to-day. Oliver Shillington hasn't played yet this year, and Michael Stone as well. He's been moved to IR, but it just means next man up. I expect going on the road, this team really wanting to play better defensive hockey. I think the under probably might be worth a look here in this game. The question is going to be, what will you get from the likes of Connor Mackey, Nick DeSimone, who are going to end up being the 5 and 6 defensemen here tonight for Calgary. But I think the whole team just, it's a step-up spot, starting a road trip, stop the bleeding. We know the Islanders obviously didn't play their best against Detroit. They'll want to bounce back too, but I like the Calgary price here in this game. I think it's a decent price to look toward them in this game. As far as props go, You have Blake Coleman and Dylan Dubé. Dylan Dubé up to the second line, and Blake Coleman finally got off the schneid during that homestand. I think they've got some value in terms of their goal scorer props tonight. The Islanders, Wallstrom, someone I would consider for them as long as he stays on that top line. Maybe even a guy like Kyle Palmieri, who started to light the lamp for them here in this one. It looks like Markstrom and Sorokin, the goaltender. Sorokin's been really good. That's always the fear here of going against the Islanders with him in net. 5-4, 2.12 goals against, 933 save percentage. It is worth noting, though, he did struggle against Calgary last year, lost 5-2 with Sorokin in net, the Islanders, and he gave up 5 goals on 29 shots. So I'm going to take Calgary here. I think it's the right time to jump in on this. And I'm high on Calgary. I still am, even with this little recent slide that they've gone on. And look, I faded them with New Jersey Saturday, so I'm not even I'm totally willing to go against them when I think it makes sense. But I think this is a good spot to buy in here. Calgary minus 120 tonight. All right, let's go to the next game, St. Louis and Boston. We got the Bruins minus 195 home favorites, 6 the total in this game. It's tough to back the Blues. It is. I mean, we've given them how many opportunities now to try to snap this ugly losing streak they've gone on, and it just does not happen. They have not been able to turn things around. They had the ugly loss to Montreal. We thought maybe they'd bounce back, show up with a much better, stronger defensive effort in particular against the LA Kings. That didn't happen. Then we thought, the New York Islanders, couple days off, some line changes, maybe an opportunity now to finally get off the schneid and get back on track. That didn't happen either. So now it's at the point now, if you're St. Louis, show me you can bounce back. Show me you can play some better hockey. And now you're playing a Boston team that's undefeated at TD Garden, 6-0, coming off only their second loss of the season against Toronto, 2-1. I don't know. I think the Bruins did what they had to do with the Mitchell Miller situation, saying, hey, we made a mistake. I like how they phrased it like, new information has come out now and we've changed our mind. No, it wasn't new information. To hell with that bullshit. That's the biggest bunch of garbage. That's a load of crap as far as I'm concerned. New information has surfaced. No, it was a public backlash about the fact you signed that kid, and that's why you decided to pull the plug. That's why you decided to change your mind. Give me a break of new information. Nobody buys that crap for as long as you could throw that shit all you want. Doesn't mean we have to take it. That's what it is. So it's all about outcry and the public. Yes, that's right. Just what I'm saying, Pull Buddies Nerfect. That's what it is. It's absolutely a situation where that's why they made the decision. They just heard everybody saying, you can't keep this kid. They didn't want him. Patrice Bergeron was against it. Marchand was against it. And when the leadership core of the Bruins had issues with them signing him, you got to make that decision to not keep him around. And that's exactly what happened. Plus the NHL, and Gary Bettman had that statement that we might not even let him play in the NHL. So what good is it signing him if he can't suit up for you? So the decision was made. Maybe this calms the waters. I think it was a very unsettled weekend for Boston. Not saying that's the reason they lost to Toronto. We do have to give the Leafs credit. They played a hell of a game. They lost their goaltender in that game. They blocked a ton of shots like it was game 7 of a playoff series in that game. And it was a lot better performance from the Leafs defensively. That played a part. But I think part of it, too, was that whole mess with Mitchell Miller was going on off the ice, and I think maybe a distraction, maybe some things where the Bruin players were a little on eggshells, if you will, with the management for that decision. So I think now that they've cut the ties with Miller, maybe now the Bruins are relaxed. Everything's harmony again with the management and the players and the leadership of the team, and now they go out there, play hockey again, and maybe play a good game. And playing good games is definitely something they have done on home ice. Like I said, 6-0. The last time they lost against Ottawa, they bounced back. They beat Anaheim in their next game. Again, they're getting healthier as well. David Krejci is back. Really, they've only got McAvoy, Derek Forbort on the blue line, both injured, and, of course, Jeremy Swayman. Other than that, they've gotten healthier. David Krejci just came back. Of course, Brad Marchand returned last week. Hampus Lindholm, if Jimmy Murphy was with us for the first time on Friday's show, and Jimmy will be with us every Friday moving forward, we hope, during the season. But he said that Hampus Lindholm has been a revelation. He's been jumping into the play. He's been active from the blue line, moving the puck up the ice, getting involved in the offense. That has definitely been a good thing to see here for the Boston Bruins. And, That's one of those under the radar prop options maybe you want to look at here. Hampus Lindholm has 2 goals in the last 3 games. He's got 4, 6, 8. Do you know how many points he's got? He's got 13 points, 4 goals, 9 assists from the blue line this year for the Boston Bruins. Hampus Lindholm. So you talk about Ian Cameron's bargain bin goal scorer props, point props if you can find them as well. Probably are worth a look on this guy. Like, he's getting involved in the offense. He's jumping into the play. He has 4 goals, 9 assists already, and he's plus 550 to score a goal in some books. So there's no question. Hampus Lindholm is a value prop. Coyle is a value prop. Someone I know in the chat just mentioned him. I wouldn't argue with that. Charlie Coyle's been a nice little forward option and a depth scoring option for the Bruins as well. No doubt about that. For St. Louis, let's see if getting on the road helps them. I kind of think tonight they may be in the same boat as Calgary, where maybe they just got to get on the road, right? They've lost 6 in a row. They lost all 3 games at home. Get on the road. Maybe, all of a sudden things are going to be a little bit, you get camaraderie, the team bonds, and you play better hockey. But I'm going to have to see it before I believe it. They've given up 6, 7, 5, and 5 in their last 4 games. I mean, that is a grand total of 23 goals allowed by the Boston Bruins in their last 4 games. So they have really struggled defensively. I would lean over the total in this game. It is 6 in some spots. DraftKings, other books have it at 6. Some others have it at 6.5. I'd lean in that direction. I'm not laying it with Boston tonight, but I just have to see it from St. Louis before I trust them at this point, because I was burned taking them against LA. I almost came back to them against the Islanders and didn't, and they didn't have a good performance there. They're struggling with their confidence right now, and it's kind of like Pittsburgh. That's the way I feel with St. Louis. Show me you can bounce back. Show me you can, wipe away the struggles. Show me you can put it together for 60 minutes, both ends of the ice, and win a hockey game before I'm ready to back you right now. Pittsburgh, same thing. Like, that's why I took Seattle there. I'm like, I'm not ready to lay that price with Pittsburgh. They got to show me that they can win before I'm ready to back them. And I'm more than willing to go against them when they're laying minus 200. And I was able to do that with Seattle, taking the Kraken against Pittsburgh. And it's the same thing here with the Blues. Until I see a good performance, until I see you snap the losing streak, until I see you tighten things up defensively, which has not happened for the St. Louis Blues in the last 4 games, I can't back you, even getting this price, plus 165. So pass for me on the side. I probably will get there with a smaller bet, over 6, minus 120. All right, last game on the Monday card, Edmonton Oilers and Washington Capitals. We've got Edmonton up to minus 165 now, road favorites in this game against Washington. The total sitting at currently at around 6.5, pretty much across the board in this game. Washington's a mess. Another one of my big dog winners on Saturday. I said, you know what? I know we're not going to find many reasons. We're not going to have too many times when it's like, yeah, let's bet the Arizona Coyotes. But I said, they're starting a road trip. They've got a Washington team that is absolutely riddled with injuries, banged up beyond belief, struggling to score goals, really struggling at both ends of the ice. And right now, when you look at it for Washington, it's getting worse for them, believe it or not, in terms of the injuries. They were already without Tom Wilson, TJ Oshie, Carl Hagelin, Connor Brown up front. Backstrom, of course, hasn't played yet this year either. On the blue line, John Carlson's already out. And now Dmitry Orlov, who's probably one of the more steady, strong, defensive-minded defensemen that you have, he's got a lower body injury, and he's a game-time decision tonight against the Edmonton Oilers. So it just the problems worsen. The injuries are getting deeper for this Capitals team, and the losses continue to pile up. I mean, that can't happen against Arizona, where you're up 2-0 going into the third period at home, and you can't bring that game home to the win column. 3 goals unanswered by the Arizona Coyotes in the third period. Actually, it was 1-0 after 2. They got the early third period goal, Washington to go up 2-0, and it's like, well, that looks like they're going to find a way. And then bam, 3 goals for the Arizona Coyotes, 2 by Nick Ritchie, including the game winner in the final minute, and a huge win for Arizona and a brutal loss for Washington. Like I said, Washington was almost minus 300 home favorites in that game and the Arizona Coyotes got the big win there. I ain't taking Washington right now. Edmonton's got their own struggles right now. They've lost a couple in a row all of a sudden after a 5-game win streak. They lost to New Jersey. They blew a lead themselves in the third period against the Devils, much like Washington did against Arizona the other night. And then in the Dallas game, I don't think they played badly early. Like, they had chances, but everything Dallas got offensively in terms of scoring opportunities, it was going in the net. And again, the struggles continued for Jack Campbell. He gives up 6 goals on 36 shots. That one goal from just inside the blue line, it's like he gets it with his glove and it goes off his glove and into the net. It's almost like the puck went right through his catcher's mitt, his a goalie glove, and in the net. I mean, he is just having a tough time here with his brand new team. And, this is now a solid month where Campbell's having a tough time acclimating right now. No question about that at the moment for him, struggling with his confidence. But I think this is a situation where Washington, to me, is just in a world of hurt. They're not getting offensive contributions from many sources outside of Alex Ovechkin right now. The defense now is starting to get banged up with Karlsson and Orlov. They've got not just a bunch of forwards, but key forwards. They count on Nick Backstrom. They count on Tom Wilson. Carl Hagelin's a good depth forward. Connor Brown helps any team win. He's a great two-way forward. They count on these guys, to be in the lineup and help this team up front. And none of them are available. So they're banged up. They're struggling. Edmonton opened. I jumped on Edmonton early at -1. I didn't even get the best price. Edmonton opened -130. I didn't get on the Edmonton side until they were -145. That's when I took Edmonton at -145. Now they're up to -165. So for the purposes of the Ice Guys show here, I'm going to recommend them in regulation. Keep in mind, the Oilers have actually been pretty good on the road so far this year. They've only played 3 times on the road, 3-0 on the road this year, the Oilers. So they had the St. Louis win on the road, Chicago, Calgary, they beat on the road. So a 3-0 road start for the Edmonton Oilers. They're starting a road trip here tonight against a reeling Washington team. And if I'm Jay Woodcroft, the head coach, if I'm Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Evander Kane, and everybody on this Oilers team, this is your game. You got to get a W here because you got Tampa Bay next tomorrow night on a back-to-back. You got Carolina after that. You got Florida after that. So you've got that tough 3-game stretch on the road against pretty good hockey teams. This is your spot here tonight to get a win. I like Edmonton here. Now that it's up to -165 for the show, like I have -145 money line in pocket. For the show, I'll recommend in regulation. You'll at least get a better price now. Oilers in regulation here in this. And by the way, Skinner is going to be in net, Stuart Skinner. And we know right now at the moment, he's played a little bit better than his teammate there, Jack Campbell. So Skinner in net, you can get +100, by the way, with Edmonton in regulation. I like that. As far as props go, there are a couple that I like for this game. On the Edmonton side of things, they keep trying to give Kyler Yamamoto a bunch of chances here to get going. He's had a little bit of a slow start to the season, playing on the second line. We'll see if he gets going. I'm always going to talk Ryan Nugent-Hopkins because he's playing with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman on the top line. Those are props to look at potentially for goal scorer props tonight. For Washington, Ovechkin they're not getting much offense outside of Ovechkin right now. Maybe you look at a Dylan Strome. He's been someone that's, flickered a little bit offensively of late, although he has now gone 3 games without a goal. And we do have a good situation, an advantageous bet on goal scorer, bargain player prop situation for Washington with Sonny Milano, who made his season debut for the Capitals Saturday against Arizona. He was recalled last week. He had 2 goals in 5 games in the AHL with the Hershey Bears down there. He's a guy that scored 14 goals in 66 games last year. And they put him right away on the second line with Dylan Strome and Marcus Johansson on Saturday night. And they've got him back there again, it looks like tonight. No changes there. So you talk about a guy that's being elevated to the second line, getting a top 6 forward role. It looks like Peter Laviolette is going to potentially give him some power play opportunity on the second unit. Yeah, second power play unit as well. Sonny Milano is slotted in there. And you can get Sonny Milano for Washington tonight playing on the second line as high as +380 to score a goal tonight for the Washington Capitals in that +370 to +380 range. So I think, again, those are the situations I talk about constantly on this show when it comes to goal scorer player props. Players that are moving up the lineup, preferably to a top 6 role, either the first line or the second line, and they're not being priced like it. That's what we've got here tonight with Sonny Milano. So I think it's worth a look there in terms of his goal scorer prop tonight. All right, that is a wrap. That's the Monday card. Thanks to everyone for joining us on YouTube. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't done so already. Make sure you're checking out patreon.com/iceguys, $10 a month. Tons of bonus content, videos, daily card for the show, power ratings, goalie charts, totals charts, and more. Find all of that great stuff, great betting info, content, and more. We got plenty on the horizon, too, in terms of the bonus content at patreon.com/iceguys, just for $10 a month. So make sure you check that out for sure, the Patreon Ice Guys page. All right, best bets to wrap up this edition of the show. I'll start with mine. I'm the only one on the show, so I will start and end with mine for best bet here for this Monday card. Let me see here. I'm going to go Calgary, minus 120. I think it's answer the bell time. I've got them still as a better hockey team than the New York Islanders. Honestly, I think they will be as the season progresses. They've just hit a little bit of a rut the last 3 games. But Seattle, a game they easily could have won, should have won, blew it in the third period. Nashville game, they just weren't ready to play from the get-go. And when you do that, you're not going to win. But they paid the price for it. Last game, I thought the effort was better. They were definitely more engaged, but unfortunately, the defensive lapses against a team that is just surging right now, especially offensively in New Jersey, they're going to make you pay for it. And that's what happened in that game. I think this is a good spot for Calgary. I think they're still the better of these two teams. They're starting a road trip. You're only laying $1.20. I think they find a way to get back on track. Snap this little skid. Calgary minus 120 for me against the New York Islanders. And I've been good with best bets using Calgary for best bets on the show this year. I think I've used Calgary multiple times and cashed in. So I've timed it well with the Flames, both on and against them. Let's hopefully that timing remains true to form and on par tonight. Calgary minus 120 against the New York Islanders for my best bet tonight. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we will talk to you again tomorrow on Tuesday with Josh Eunice, special guest joining us for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.